Now what happened is these texts was a major part. Your Kabbalah, your Zohar, which is your Zohar, which is your Kabbalistic system. All that came from the temple of Komombo and Kemet to the, later on ended up in Spain and given to the converted Jews, which is the Europeans. And then they cultivated it and tried to claim it's their own. You see what I'm saying? So your Zohar is first introduced into Spain, which is the Kabbalah, which basically your Lubavitcher Jews use also too. If you want to get a sense on what they deal with, you go get the movie, this movie called A Stranger Among Us with Melanie Griffith, and just notice what all that about your Lubavitcher Jews just up here wearing the black. They studied the Kabbalah. All kinds of magical texts. I mean, it's unbelievable just about all the metaphysical things you see in these bookstores. How did the white people able to get all this metaphysical stuff? They got it because they cultivated all this Moorish history, and basically those 16 universities that was left behind, the stuff that wasn't destroyed, the Europeans, it became the property of different secret societies. So they put in place secret societies. We talked about this in the last video. But this is interesting because we understand that the Moors put these secret societies in Europe because they understood that also Africa was deteriorating, it was old, and it had to go to sleep. But they raised the European up because look how what kind of devil he was with education. What you think if he didn't have nothing? Everything would be lost forever. So you have to give somebody something so you can preserve something. So they're only the custodians of our knowledge because they can't use it ultimately. Just the minor aspects. But the reason why I say that is because I wanted to give you this particular information on what happened with the educational system. All of this magical stuff, this alchemical component, used to be the major part of spirituality in your mathematics and your physics and your all the stuff that you get in basic education now, what you call Western education now, used to be the physical component of these spiritual disciplines. More like the byproduct of something that's greater knowledge, paradox of higher knowledge. You're just getting the physical science. And basically, the secret societies, when they set up their educational system, after gaining both sides and learning both sides from the Moors, what they did was that they decided they was going to separate one system from the other. So they give you the byproduct, which is only on the mundane, social, economical, physical laws, you see what I'm saying, and chemical aspect, and they keep the alchemical, spiritual aspect, and that's only studied in the lodges. And you see what I'm saying, as an educational system, and then the rest of it is in your metaphysical bookstores, but they understand that most people, this is not a literate society, it's an alliterate society, one that can read but don't read. So in so many words, going back to ancient Kemet, and what's happening with most scholars is we can't bridge the difference because we don't let the white boy convince us that his educational system is the way to go, even when we look at things black. There's other spiritual aspects that we don't even tap into. You have some other questions? I mean, as far as did you want to answer?
Yes, I do. First, I'm going to let Azariah change his tape because I know that tape is
just about time, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Blink is the one I want to do.
Yeah, okay.
I wish I had. I want to go back, of course, to understanding how the Egyptian pantheon worked out, what it meant. But since we was on, you had mentioned something about the Hasidims.
Yeah.
And them studying the Kabbalah. Black people need to know something about what they are looking at when they see the Hasidims. They're all dressed in black.
Yeah.
Anytime you see one, you're looking at all of them. What is the psychology of what they're doing? What is the spiritual?
Well, the black, just like the black that you have in your judges, has its origin and its roots with Osirianism, God of the perfect black. God of the perfect black. From blackness, everything comes. So they understand it is the ultimate power. And so they wear all the black and all this particular thing because ultimately they understand in order for them to faith that they are the original people, it has to be done through a serious culture of knowing just about what we dealt with. What we dealt with. Now so they understand, and like I say, they worship, or they study the Kabbalah. Now in this movie, when you go see it, you're going to see them, they're going to walk up on a room, and Melanie Griffin going to say, you know, we study 13 hours a day. That's what the little boy is going to be saying to her. And basically, they study the cosmology of the universe. And you best believe it's not just the Kabbalistic side. They even study the Egyptian side and anything they can get their hands on, so that they can stay and reign supreme. As a matter of fact, there's a war going on right now in the white world with a lot of these occult people. And what it is they're complaining that whenever that the Jews have two types of oaths. They have an oath. They have an oath. They take an oath to Israel. And that oath is when they go out in the public world, whatever they experience within any other secret societies or any other organization, they have an oath to Israel to render that knowledge and that spirit, and any type of secret that they want to the rabbis and the head of their community. So they have an oath to override any oath that they take in public society and in private society outside of the Jewish society.